haters, man, I treat them like the enemy. Had a couple traitors, man, but now they know the penalty. I tell them, see you later, fam, I do not need this jealousy. I got no time for failure, man, I wanna leave a legacy. I lock in and I'm sold out, pop up for the whole crowd. I got this, I roll out, I promise, have no doubt. I'm all in, here I go now. Call in, you roll out. Take hostage, the pro down, they novice when I throw down.
We gon' make it all the way. We don't care what they all will say. Don't listen to the hate, no. Listen to my fate, yo. Destined to be great, yo. We gon' make it all the way. We don't care what they all will say. Don't listen to the hate, no. Listen to my fate, yo. Yeah, we like to go.
Put me on ESPN, yeah. Put me on top of the tank, yeah. I like to get in the game, yeah. No way in here to make friends, yeah. Taking it straight to the bank, yeah. I'm like a shark in the tank, yeah. And if your girl misbehave, yeah, I'll give your girl like a steak, yeah. That's picking me out of my head, yeah. I don't belong in my bed, yeah. I should be famous instead, yeah. I will not stop till I'm dead, yeah. Never let them hate, tell them I'll be great. It's gotta be my fate, you can take it to the bank. I just wanna get it while I can, and when I get it, I'll be damned if I'ma let it get away without a fight. I got a plan, yeah.
We gon' make it all the way. We don't care what they all will say. Don't listen to the hate, no. Listen to my fate, yo. Destined to be great, yo. And we gon' make it all the way. We don't care what they all will say. Don't listen to the hate, no. Listen to my fate, yo. Yeah, we like to go hard.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing on this wonderful Friday morning or evening, wherever you are located? I have with me a amazing individual. I have Tuan here to speak with us about his journey and to share a little bit of his strategies and where he sees himself going with the partner program and also his business here within Elm. So Tuan, thank you so much for joining me today. I really wanted to get you on the first week of our partner calls. I was like, Tuan has to be on the first week so we can showcase and just enjoy your story, because your story is very powerful. And if you wouldn't mind, if you are joining us live, do a hashtag live. If you're joining us on the replay, do a hashtag replay so we can see. And if you have any questions for Tuan, do put them down below and we'll be able to answer those after the call. So Tuan, take it away with your journey and your story. I'm super excited to hear it.
Well, where do we start?
Well, don't start when you were a baby.
Yeah, so when I was born in 19. No, you know, I guess really this online entrepreneur's journey has been it's been challenging. So you know, just kind of a quick recap, give you some context of like my background. You know, I actually was in prison like 3 times. So I spent a total about 10 years just kind of going through the motions of really finding my purpose, finding my place of significance, finding my place of value. I always tell people I was in high ticket sales. I just sold the wrong products. So it was almost like I always had like this affiliate marketing kind of background in high ticket, just had the wrong products. And of course that led me down this dark path of addiction back to incarceration. And so, you know, through that, I discovered that, you know, I had this gift of leadership and communication. And so it really took me to come to that really quiet place where I had to be stripped from everything that I held valuable. And so just think like there's so much power in the pause, because what happens when you learn to pause, growth catches up to you. You know, as a matter of fact, something came to mind this past week in my meditation as I was just praying to God. God was saying, hey, look, when you learn to pause, your prayers will actually catch up to you because you move so fast. And then you're not even able to see what I have in store for you. So that was kind of like a revelation this past week. But, you know, just learning how to pause really was a great place for me to embrace where I was at versus just kind of going through the motions. So, you know, got out of prison maybe 2 years ago and just God started just blowing some doors open for me. You know, stepped into the leadership space and thought that I was going to crush it in the online space with becoming a leadership coach. I was part of the John Maxwell team. And I realized it's not that easy, and so there's so many things that, just looking back when I first started that I focused on that really didn't give me that great ROI, building this website, building this massive email list, trying to create this funnel, trying to create this course, like all those things were great. But if I didn't know how to position myself on social media as really more personal branding, learning how to write copy, those were the things that really essentially made me more successful in the online space. And so I spent a lot of time just building on all those things in the beginning with no results. I couldn't get any traffic. And so if you don't really understand how lead generation works, you can build all that stuff and it's not going to make any difference. Because at the end of the day, people buy into you before they buy into the product. So I love asking this question is, how does your influence stack up against the marketplace? How does your influence stack up against competitors? And if you're not focusing on how to leverage influence on social media, you're going to be competed in this big red ocean where everybody's doing things bigger and better than you. And I'll say this. One of the greatest lessons I learned in the beginning, your passion, it doesn't always equal profit. So just keep that in mind. I thought that if I just operated in my passion would equal profit. No, it's not like that. In order for you to operate in your passion, you have to realize you have to acquire new skills, new talents, new things to make you more valuable in the marketplace. And that's when I really discovered, that number one, I don't always have to create my own products. I made my first 20K in the online space selling someone else's products with no funnel, no email list, simply Facebook by itself. And then I had that moment. I was like, whoa, I just crushed 20K in commission in my first month of high ticket affiliate marketing with no email lists, simply Facebook profile and messenger marketing. So I saw the power in that. And I'm not knocking building your list. I'm saying that you don't need this massive email list to start off. What you need is to learn how to master the art of connecting with your audience. Right. So that's when I discovered, I was like, hey, I can leverage other people's products and still make decent money as I'm building on my own courses and stuff like that. I didn't understand that. And so during that time, as I just kept on investing in myself, ran across, software extensions and things like that. And it was, I liked it because I was like, doing Facebook organic marketing, you need software tools to help you optimize your life. It comes to this point where if you want to scale, you're going to need tools to help you scale up. Now, in the beginning, you probably don't need it. But as I just kept on growing and my influence kept on growing and I kept on adding daily people into my network, I started realizing, I was like, you know what? We don't rise to the level of our goals and our wants. We fall to the level of our systems. And so many people have goals and ambitions and they're up here. What's the how? So we know the want, there's no how. And so there's no system there that's going to help them achieve success. And so that's when I realized, as I was really just stepping more into embracing who I was in the online space, was I really a high ticket affiliate marketer? And then I shifted from just high ticket affiliate marketing into just coaching. And I started realizing coaching gave me more of a position in the marketplace outside of high ticket affiliate marketing. I do high ticket affiliate marketing, but then I stepped more into the coaching space. And then that's where I started learning how to leverage position. And then I said, you know what? I need some more bonuses. And ran into a Facebook Messenger one day from a friend named Brad. Right. And he goes, check this software out. And that was actually my first encounter with Elm. And at that time, it was like 197. Mm-hmm. 197 lifetime. We didn't have 3/4 of the stuff we have now. It was just fresh off the skillet. like literally fresh off the skillet. And I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and get this lifetime offer. And then from there, I started seeing more and before. First off, because this was new. And I was like, you know what? I want to see what else there is. And so I started seeing the potential of using software, not only for my personal use, but also how do I help others in the marketplace do what I do? And then also add that later on to my offers, to my coaching and things like that. So I saw more and before back in September of 2019?
It was 2020.
Okay, 2020. Okay, I'm losing track. Yeah, so September 2020. And yeah, and then that's when I met you and Andrew, and things have just I jumped on board all in, just figured a way to make things happen. And it's been a big blessing just to really partner up with you guys. That's when I met Robert, and we're doing some pretty cool things. But yeah, that's kind of like the short version of like how I stumbled into software. Like software was nowhere in my radar last year at all.
That's pretty awesome. I know I've heard your story a few times, and it's still an amazing story. I mean, it touches me, and the way that you came into software just by seeing something that Brad posted, and you got in at the low level, and you're like, you know what? It's not even where it's at right now, and it wasn't at where it's going to be, but you still saw, like you say, more and before. You saw the vision, and you're like, you know what? I need to jump in. This is important. This is going to help so many people. And it's just amazing to see your journey so far. So I do know that you and Robert partner up. How has that changed the way that you're marketing? Has it just flourished your business, or has it just made it just that top tier, your challenges so far?
It's definitely brought us to a new level because I'm really big on teamwork. And I say this all the time, I'll say it again for you guys on the call, is when your dream is too small, you don't need nobody. Go ahead and do the Lone Ranger thing. That's perfectly fine. But when your dream's bigger than you, you're going to need a team, not just any team. You're going to need a dream team. Dream teams don't come to you. Like, you have to be intentional. Like, most people that are really, if they're an influencer, maybe they're a leader in their space already, they have their own vision. They have their own thing going on. Like, they're not going to come find you. And so a lot of the things in just leadership and teamwork is you need to know who you need on your team. Like, in the beginning, I try to do so many things, but here's the thing. It's great to push people out of their comfort zone, but you never want to push people into an area of their weakness. What happens is, like, I'm going to get frustrated trying to build funnels. And what happens is the more time I spend doing that versus just actually being what I'm great at, which is connecting, communicating, just being in the limelight where I can actually connect and influence, it takes me away from that. And now that I'm operating more out of frustration when I'm trying to create things, when I can actually partner up with people that are great at that. You see how powerful that is you need to understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and then you build a team around that. That's where vision comes in, and that's where leadership comes in. And so many people, they try to do everything by themselves instead of just asking for help. And so I decided, so I'm always looking for potential, right? I'm always looking for potential, and I'm very intentional about reaching out and just collaborating. And there's so much that can happen when you actually just connect.
That's one of my weaknesses too, is reaching out and saying, hey, I need help.
Right.
Because I always want to do it. I can do it. But now having you on board and everybody else, I'm like, okay, well, you guys can do the training, or you can do the design, because Andrew and I, we want to focus on building and not designing. So that's when you hire the people or have people on your team that are able to do that. And you and Robert partnering together, where Robert does the trainings and building those funnels, you can focus more on the outreach and getting those individuals inside the challenge to make it even better. So that's pretty awesome. So one thing I wanted to have you share was your strategy. If you're able to give a little nuggets here and there for what you are doing to move forward?
Right. You talking about strategies back then or now?
Now.
So strategies now are way different than what we did before, right? So remember, influence is the key. I'm gonna use off influence. I'm gonna use 5 questions. Number 1 is, who do I influence? Right. So you guys can help me out. Type that in the chat. Who do I influence? I used to think that I could just literally attract or manifest people into my life that were like-minded. In reality, no, we don't attract what we want or what we need. We attract who we are. Keep that in mind. Likes beget likes. Birds of a feather flock together. I don't care what you want. You attract literally who you are. It's like I teach what I know, but really I reproduce who I am. Okay, so that's number 1, is who am I influencing in the online space? Number 2 is, how do I influence, right? Because the key to how do I influence will actually help me generate new leads, but also bring in new people into my vision, right? And so you have to ask yourself, who do I influence? How do I influence? And how many do I influence? You see, a lot of us don't have any way to keep measure of all these things. So when we go into how many do I influence, is, do you have a daily method of operations? How many people are you connecting with daily? Is there even like a KPI just for you to keep a scoreboard of how well you're doing? In the beginning, I didn't have none of that. But I started thinking about, okay, what's my scoreboard look like on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, right? How many people do I influence? And the next thing I want you to write down is, when do I influence? When and where do I influence makes a big difference. I love asking this question. Are you a crutch player or a clutch player? There's a lot of crutch players out there, because what is a crutch player, Tuan? You literally have to prop these people up.
Yeah.
But let's talk about a clutch player, like a Michael Jordan, a catalyst. He gets in the game, he makes things happen when and where it counts. And you can always count on them because they're always in the clutch. You see how important that is now? Is like, when and where do I influence? Do I just influence people when I just feel like it, when it's convenient for me? Do I do my daily method of operations where I'm connecting and hitting all these people in Messenger when I just feel like it? Or do I do it daily because I'm committed and it's not a task? Because here's the thing. The key to understanding when and where do I influence is not checking a box. It's understanding that there's a purpose behind the task. So then it doesn't get overwhelming no more, because the purpose behind what I'm doing is this. And a lot of people, they don't have that purpose. They just have a checkbox, and it's like, oh, I'm just overwhelmed, because you don't have a purpose behind what you're doing. And when you have that why power that drives you, it changes everything, because that's when you're like, okay, I see the end in mind, and this is what I got to do. Why power versus willpower. Why power will always be stronger than your willpower. Willpower can be very frustrating because I'm just trying to check the box. It's overwhelming on certain days because you don't have a purpose behind what you do. So find your purpose behind what you do. And last but not least is, why do I influence? What's your reason why you want to become an influencer? Why do you want to sell software? Why do you want to do the things that you do? And you have to ask yourself daily, like, what's my motivation on why I do the things I do? So this is just kind of like more of like, I'm just giving you guys some pointers on like things that you really need to ask yourself moving forward. Talking about strategies more, I realize in order to have more influence with what we're doing, challenges are great. And then what we do is we leverage more of our team. So we have like JV affiliates. We also have affiliates that are in our challenge. And so what happens now is we actually grow and develop a community of excellence, because that's what people want at the end of the day. They don't want to just jump into like another affiliate program. They want to be part of a community. And that's where it's at, is if you can build people up in a community with like, know, and trust, and truly support people, that's the game changer right there. And so just going on, just the strategy of where me and Robert are now, just really, how do we impact and influence more people with our challenge? We grow our team, we develop others, we reproduce leaders, and that's how we grow.
I love it. I love it. You gave me goosebumps. You got all hyped up about the influence, and I was just like, oh, I love it. That's everybody needs to hear that. It also goes back to the 9 core commitments. Those 9 core commitments aren't just check boxes.
Right.
They're to help you grow as an individual, and that's what I also needed to hear this morning. So thank you for that as well. I do have those questions written down, so I will post them after our live inside of the group. And so more individuals can actually take action and answer those questions. So you can give an honest answer to those and really reflect on what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, whether you're checking boxes or doing it with a purpose. So thank you so much, Tuan. I'm going to share the link for Tuan's challenge, Tuan and Robert's challenge with you guys. I believe I have it. If you want to pop that into the chat real quick. Let me see. One moment.
Robert.
Is Robert on? Okay. Actually, Robert, since you're on, if you want to pop that into the chat.
Yeah, you can ask Robert to pop it on. Robert, pop in that 3-day messenger challenge.
Yeah, challenge
Link.
All right. Well, I appreciate you hopping on this morning and sharing your vision and where you came from, your story. It's very important for people to hear that because they can resonate with you and where you came from, and also where you're headed. It's not just about the software. It's about creating the relationships with individuals that you talk to on a day-to-day basis. And so I appreciate you hopping on this morning. And if you are watching, do ask any questions. If you have any for Tuan, you can put them in the chat below, and then we'll be able to answer them after the call. And let me share the link. Thank you, Robert, for that. If you guys wanted to hop in on the 3-day challenge that Robert and Tuan put together at the end of the month, and it is every month. So if you missed this month, you can join next month as well. So you can go to elmlink.co/3-day challenge to hop in. And do remember, it's not open yet. So you're just registering, and you'll be able to join in and see the amazing things that happen inside of the challenge, because it's very interactive, and it just gets you motivated for the next following month. So Tuan, any last things you want to share?
Just one last thing, going back to influence. Like, when I say influence and I talk about influencer, I'm not talking about this. You don't have to have this big platform. Like, literally, you can influence one person. That one person could be that next person. So just think about this. Imagine meeting someone like Tuan. I didn't know nothing about the software game, but it was just through one magical encounter where I was able to see something through a conversation with Andrew and Larlin. But through that vision casting, if you can give clarity, you can unite and divide people. And just remember, your vision is going to do 2 things. It's going to unite, it's going to divide people. Not everyone's going to come on this journey with you. But how clear are you on your vision? See, many people don't know how to cast a vision, and therefore it's so sporadic, it's everywhere, and they're not attracting the right people to come on the journey. I love this statement where it says, no one's going to understand your vision unless God gave them that. You know, and I think about how important it is for me to constantly be just speaking out my vision, because the more and more I speak it, the more and more I own it, I become confident in that. And what happens is the more and more I share it, people start hearing it. And sometimes you have to be consistent with the same message over and over. Right. And I'm sharing that because don't give up.
Right.
Like, wherever you guys are at, this is a process. It's a process of consistency. It's a process of confidence. It's a process of clarity. Client conversions just don't come by you waking up in the morning. They come through you having clarity in your message. They come through you having confidence in who you are and what you're selling, and then the consistency of driving that over and over and over again. I met Robert through a Facebook story. But if it wasn't for the clarity, the confidence, and the consistency in the same message over and over, I would have never had those magical touch points where conversions come. So keep in mind, everybody wants the client conversions. What's the how? Clarity, confidence, consistency. Am I focusing on those 3 C's? Because without those 3 pillars, you'll never get those client conversions the way you want.
There's Tuan dropping gold. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this call. Tuan, thank you so much for all of your golden nuggets and just sharing what you do on a day-to-day basis and how you're talking to individuals and creating those relationships. So if you guys are up for a call on Saturday, Andrew is doing an over-the-shoulder call. It will be at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You guys can join in and watch him go through the app and how he shares with you how he uses the application to create those relationships, not sell. So he does a very great job at that, and you can hop in whenever you have a chance. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you again, Tuan, for joining me today, and all of you just have a great weekend. Thank you.